What are the three principles of archaic globalization? What's up guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Tish. Hope you guys are well. Today's video is going to be about archaic globalization. Hope you guys enjoy. Please drop a like, comment and subscribe, and let's get into this. So before we start talking, let's first understand what is globalization. So globalization is a simple process by which businesses or organizations develop international influence or start operating on an international scale. This works as well with politics and economies as well. So now let's talk about archaic globalization. So this is the phase in history of globalization, and it refers to globalizing events and developments from the time of the earliest civilizations until the 1700s. The period after is known as early modernization. This describes the relationships between communities and states and how they were created by the geographical spread of ideas and social norms at both local and regional in the 9th and 7th millennia. And Afro-Eurasian networks emerged, although it formed slowly and it was a loose entity. It nevertheless functioned as a means of spreading innovation, religion, and you name it. So we just talked about what is globalization and what is archaic globalization. Let's talk about what did archaic globalization bring to the world. Well, all states started to interact with each other within close proximity as a way to acquire goods that were considered luxury. It then led to the spread of religion, economic structures, and even political ideas. Archaic globalization is quite interestingly related to the globalization of today on a much smaller scale. It has also led the world to a system that was before the rise of capitalism between the 6th and 19th centuries. This was also referred to as the Early Age of Capitalism because long-distance trade and market exchange and capital accumulation existed among other states, as well as major religions also started to spread, such as Islam, Christianity, and Buddhism. One of the most popular examples of trade would be the Silk Route between China and the Mediterranean, movement and trade with art and luxury goods between Arab, South Asia, and African regions. During the later part of the 12th century and the beginning of the 13th century, the international trade system was developed between North, Western Europe, also China. And that began one of the biggest trade movements between the continents. So that was obviously just a touch of what it brought to our world. Now, what are the three principles of archaic globalization? So it is the universalizing of kingship led by soldiers, monarchs, and which traveled far distances to find honor and prestige. This created a trade and social economic interactions, and it built empires. Pilgrimage became part of the archaic globalization. This is the second point. By pilgrimage, we obviously mean traveling back to homelands, traveling back to Israel, India, you name it. And this is something that is still part of today's world. And then there was the desire for better health, and it was the remaining push of archaic globalization. So all of this that I just talked about is important stages of evolution of ancient globalization. It also occurred that they were related to urban revolution, which increased the density and variability of interconnection between societies of the Afro-Eurasian world system. So a lot of trade happened between Asia, Europe, and the African continent. Then we have what is archaic globalization? I'll ask again. This also refers to the interdependence of the world's economies, signified by the circulation of goods, information, money, and people. It has of late given rise to the domination of the world's market. However, since then, different countries related to one another through the geographical world, spread of ideas and social norms and trading commodities. So good examples would be Canada and the United States. They trade and they share different cultural norms. You go up to the north, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. Then you go, they trade, they have different cultures, they intermingle between each other. You go up to the Scandinavians, same thing, Denmark, Finland, Norway, and Spain. No, Denmark, Finland, and Norway. Then you come down to South Africa as well, and here in South Africa we share ideas and stuff with our borders between Lesotho, Swaziland, as well as Zimbabwe and Namibia and Botswana. And you go down to south of the world, you go down to Australia and New Zealand, and then they trade with each other, and they also have their own cultures that they intermingle between each other. You go up to India and China. They used to trade tea between each other way before the British came to take tea from them, basically. And same with spices and stuff. If you look at some of the way Indian things are cooked, you'll notice there's a lot of Portuguese influence in those foods. And even though you think it's Indian or it's an Indian curry, it's actually not. It's more related to Portuguese stuff. But a lot of people don't know this. And it just goes that way. And the way things are made. So you take something from India, like for instance, the English took, let's say they took food from, they learned how to cook different foods in India. So obviously they manufacture it to be to their taste buds. So they take that cultural aspect of India, or they'll make it their own, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And that's how people intermingle and develop. And yeah, I don't know if that was a good explanation, but basically, yeah, that's archaic globalization from the 1400s, or even before that, even way before BC even, up until the 19th century. And then 19th century was when the Industrial Revolution and modernization and different revolutions began. So I will get into those in different videos, and I will talk about modern globalization in another time. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.